Pandemonium Reigns.
Florida State is winless in 2024. Billy Napier is fighting for his job. We're not sure that he knows that. Turns out Auburn can beat teams from the state of New Mexico. Who the heck is Kentucky? Who the heck is South Carolina? Hey, thank you so much for jumping in and hanging out with us this week as we've wrapped up week 3 of the college football series. A good quarter of the college football season for a lot of us is in the books. A lot of our teams are 3-0. Some of our teams are 1-2. Some of our teams, cover your ears, Seminole fans, are 0-3. I'm Dan. This is Pandemonium Reigns. Appreciate you guys so much for hanging out with us. Make sure that you hit like and subscribe on this one. Again, Mike and I are going to be coming to you a little bit differently going forward in the future, at least for the near future anyway, as schedules are conflicting and it's just hard to get together. So we're going to be doing some solos thrown at your way. What that should mean is some more content coming at you. But again, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Hey, we're going to dive into this thing, and I'm ready to talk some college football with you. Columbia, South Carolina. LSU goes into South Carolina and steals. I don't use this term lightly. Steals a win. 36-33. Here's the question. Did the Bayou Bengals and the black and white zebras collaborate together? Let's sum it up this way, actually. Officiating in this sport is broken. It's actually broken. Can this thing be fixed? I'm going to spend more time talking about this than I am, what is, the South Carolina LSU game. Because here's what this game came down to. With about 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, LSU is driving the field, getting ready to put the ball in the end zone until they don't. Nussmeier is baited into a throw that he shouldn't have made. South Carolina disguises things well, or maybe Nussmeier just didn't see it and was like, heck, he's down there somewhere. Puts it right into the hands of the defender, who streaks down the left sideline. Touchdown, Gamecocks. The rooster is crowing. Columbia is hot. Willie B is bumping until it's not. This call, or this play, is negated and called back by one of the worst calls I have ever seen. Before this, I would say the worst call that I've ever seen would be maybe the 2001 national championship game, Miami, Ohio State, on what was not defensive pass interference that negated a national championship for Miami and put it in the hands of Ohio State. But what you have here is this is called back because one of the South Carolina defenders only puts his hands on the shoulders of what was quarterback Nussmeier. And I say what was is because once that ball hits the defender's hands, he's no longer the quarterback. We got to change this perspective. He's no longer the quarterback. Nussmeier goes to the ground, sells it. Absolutely. I mean, hand this guy a Grammy for this. Laying down, acting like he's, stop. Stop with this mess. There's no blindside block. There's no defenseless play. There's none of it. It's terrible. It is atrocious. It is hideous. And I feel for South Carolina fans. I feel for you. I don't like you. I loathe you. You drive me insane. But I feel for you. What happened to you on Saturday is inexcusable. What was going to give you the lead, what was going to basically seal this game for you, at least give you a much better shot of walking out of Williams-Brice with a win, taken away from you, right out of your hands. And if I'm Shane Beamer, I'm all up in Greg Sankey's ear, which, if I know Beamer, which I don't know him personally, wouldn't be surprised if he already is, because he's fighting for his job. Now let's use that to transition a little bit because, hey, at the end of the day, nothing we can do about it. The only thing that I would say in closing on the officiating thing is make these guys full-time. The fact that your officiating crews in college football, the money elephant that is college football, to have part-time referees and umpires and officiants is ludicrous. Make these guys full-time and make them accountable. Make them full-time, make them accountable. There's an easy way to fix that. But for whatever reason, which I think I know the reason, I think the NCAA doesn't want to, get into this frustration, this fight, just something else for them to deal with. So they take an extremely passive approach to it and allow teams like South Carolina to suffer on behalf of it, because that's a brand and a logo they could probably get away with that on, right? I rest my case. Do something about officiating. One side little note, actually, I say I rest my case. I'm a youth pastor. I have a degree in Bible. Man has been complicating things since the beginning of time. God gave us 10 commandments, 10 laws, and they're extremely simple but not easy, for a lot of us. 10 of them. Man went and added over 600. What is targeting? What is it? Florida and Texas A&M. A helmet hits a dude's butt, and they call that targeting. Kentucky and Georgia. Georgia player rips the helmet off of a Kentucky player, and they call face mask on Kentucky. We have got to simplify this game. Now, I rest my case. So let's talk about the game for just a moment. Aside from the officiating, LSU walked out of Williams-Brice with a win. 2 reasons. 1, officiating. 2, Lenore Sellers got hurt. Lenore Sellers got hurt. And the backup for South Carolina, Robbie Ashford, the Auburn transfer, who has a really good ability to put the ball on the ground and run, really good running instincts. Passing, though, not his jam. If it's not quick, if it's not a quick read with the ball out, it's trouble. It's trouble. So you can pretty much anticipate defensively what's coming. So just corral the guy. So Lenore Sellers goes down. He was 9 for 16, 113 yards, and a pick. His pick was overthrown, not a good decision, whatever. But he's the reason that they are able to compete on that side of the ball. He's the reason. He was responsible for a 75-yard touchdown run. He totaled 88 total yards on the ground. I am going to go ahead and compare him. I think he will get better. I think this guy is going to get better. But stay with me just for a moment as I make this comparison. Josh Dobbs. Solid kid, good dude, it factor, good talent, is going to cover the sins of his head coach. He's going to bring some kind of success. Now, I don't know if it's going to show up on the win column, but he's going to bring some kind of success to South Carolina, and Shane Beamer's going to get to take the credit for that when it's going to be Lenore Sellers. And I expect this kid to only get better and better and better. But this kid goes down. He gets hurt. It's another reason why they lost this game, because Robbie Ashford just doesn't have it. I like this kid. I like Robbie Ashford. I like him as a runner. Matter of fact, on a 66-yard touchdown run from Rocket Sanders, they go for a 2-point conversion. Robbie Ashford pulls one out of his hat through the air and gets it. Mind blown. If Robbie Ashford is your quarterback going forward, South Carolina's in trouble, which is mind-blowing to me, because I would have told you from the get. South Carolina was already in trouble before we kicked the ball off on the 2024 season, right? Other couple notes on South Carolina, Rocket Sanders. It's really good to see what I think is the 2021-22 version of Rocket Sanders. He looks leaner. Looks like he got his step back. I'm happy for the guy. House to 66-yard run. This game blew the over. You're, again, 36-33 final. Your over was, I believe, like 48.5. Blew the over. LSU has got problems defensively. Nussmeier is, I believe, good enough. I think he's good enough. Defensively, though, you got problems. Switching back to South Carolina just for a moment, we'll end the segment on them. Going into the Kentucky game for South Carolina, I said they both need this. They both need the South Carolina-Kentucky game. They both needed to win that one because that was going to dictate their future. And props to freaking South Carolina for going into Lexington, Kentucky, and handing the Wildcats one. Handing their butt to them. And then you get a chance to turn around and host LSU, and you got a real chance to win this game. Your pass rush is something. This Dylan Stewart kid, he's a baller. He's going to arguably put some wins in your column as well. But I'm going to end it like this. Officiating took it right out from you. And that sucks. If you're a South Carolina fan, not from my perspective. Shane Beamer's over here fighting for his job. And the officiating crew, I can't believe I'm back on this. And the officiating crew not only took it from the players and disguised this crap as player safety, they did was screw the players. I mean, they made the play. And they did no wrong. And now you're screwing Shane Beamer. Because this is not going to help his case when he is continuing to play and fight for his job. It's not going to get any easier for those guys. It will next week. They'll play host to Akron. They should walk out over there 3-1, right? But they did, struggle bus with Old Dominion. And then they're going to host Ole Miss. Juice Wells is going to want his. Then you're going to travel to Tuscaloosa and then Norman, Oklahoma. And then you're going to host the Aggies of Texas A&M. You should get one against Vanderbilt and Nashville. You're going to host Missouri. You're going to host Wofford. And you're going to play at Clemson. You don't have many more wins on this thing. You just don't. You had a real chance to do something right there. And it's an absolute shame that the officiating crew stepped in and took that away. Absolute shame. Nonetheless, LSU goes into Columbia, gets a win, 36-33. Florida State. Oh, Florida State. I feel like I should apologize to Miami fans. We did a preview episode talking about Miami. Did a preview episode talking about Florida State. And those Miami fans were all over the Florida State episode. I don't know what you see in these guys. They've lost so much, yada, yada, yada. Here's where I need to apologize to you. Here's where I was wrong. Man, I was hopeful that DJ Uiagalelei was going to turn it around. I was hopeful that Mike Norvell was going to bring out the best in him. Props to DJ Uiagalelei for fooling another coaching staff. Props to him. He's done it again. Somebody put him in Hollywood. It's almost like the NFL Combine, all over again, where these big-bodied freak athletes go into this thing and they sling it 80 yards and they do this and they can throw an orange over the state of Texas. And these owners and GMs just salivate. He's done it again. DJ Uiagalelei went into the portal, showed off his frame, probably won him over in a one-on-one interview. He's an excellent kid. He's an excellent young man. If my daughter brought home a young man like that of DJ Uiagalelei, I would be tickled. He seems like a solid young man. He can't play quarterback, though. I hate it, and I hate saying that because it sounds like out of disrespect for this guy, but he doesn't have it. Maybe you should, reschedule or reconsider a position change. Give something else a shot. But then what do you do? You play tight end. You don't really have. Can you block? You don't really have the wheels for. I mean, I don't know what to say about you, man. I like you, but I just don't know that football is your future. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but you were 16 for 30, a little over 200 yards and a pick. Here's where this is not your fault, DJ Uiagalelei. I feel like I've nailed down that name. So many drops. So many drops. Oh my gosh, the drops. Roydell Williams on a screen. Dude, catch the ball. Here's where it is your fault. Your interception, good God. Hello, dude, come on. You step into pressure and you crescent moon that thing. It's almost like the Tua Tyreek thing. Like, heck, he's down there somewhere. That's basically what you did, and you just sailed it. You gave 9 Memphis Tigers an option to pick that thing off. Here's where I think the problem is. Norvell has placed too much hope and stock into DJ. The team kind of goes as quarterback goes. I've seen it. I've been on the sideline. I've been on teams. A lot of times the team just goes as your quarterback goes. The energy is matched, whatever. They're looking to you as leader. And man, you got to lead, dude. And you're not doing it. You're not doing it. Shame on the rest of them. Here's where Norvell has to do something about it. You got to make a quarterback change. You have to do it. He has fooled you for 3 games. Pull the plug. Every Florida State and college football fan is begging you. Pull the plug. Call it. It's time for Brock Glenn or Luke Cromanhope, whatever his name is. Shoot, if you have any eligibility left, it's time. I think I said that, I don't remember what episode it was, but I'd mentioned in the past how guys like Mac Brown was terminated, how guys like even Philip Fulmer terminated. Les Miles. You know why they were fired? You know why they were let go? They were stubborn. For Mac Brown, it was something like trying to turn Garrett Gilbert into Colt McCoy, not reframing his offense to benefit Garrett Gilbert. Les Miles, not just being stuck in your ways, man, not changing anything. You could probably even say the same thing for Butch. Don't let your stubbornness get you fired. I don't think you're going anywhere this year, Mike Norvell. I think you're going to be the head coach at Florida State at the end of 2024. I think you should be. I think you've done enough. But you've also got some things at this point that are going against you. Florida State has they have 3 0-3 starts since 1950, 1955. You're responsible for 2 of them. You're responsible for 2 of them, which means you're responsible for resurrecting this thing. You have got to right this ship. And if that means you have to clean house with some of these players, if it means that you change your approach and you're less portal and you're more high school, I don't know what it is, bro, but you got to do it. And I can tell you from the guys at Pandemonium Reigns, we're rooting for you to do it. College football is better when Florida State is good. The better Florida State is, the more it can keep Florida at bay. And here's where things can get dicey for you, Florida State. You're probably not getting rid of Mike Norvell by the end of the season. It's probably, you just signed him to a contract, what, a month ago? A contract extension? Florida, they're getting ready to do something. Napier doesn't know that, but they're getting ready to do something. Who's it going to be for them? This is your opportunity. This is your window. This is your time to get ahead, and you are not doing it. I want to say this. I'm going to close it out on Florida State. It's a lot like the Josh Dobbs, Lenore Sellers things that I said earlier. Looks like Jordan Travis covered a lot of sins for you. At least that's what it's looking like in hindsight. Don't let that be the narrative on you, Mike Norvell. Right this ship, pull the plug, and move forward. It's not Man, you still have some of the biggest competition left on your schedule. You're going to play host to Cal, which at this point, who's to say? Let's take a gander at this one real quick. The Vegas likes you -2. Okay. Then you're going to travel to Dallas to play SMU. You're going to host Clemson, who defensively is going to be a nightmare for you, especially if you don't make a change. You're going to play at Duke. You're going to play at Miami, who, if they want to, could hang 100. Cam Ward is lights out at this moment in time. On the season, he is 65 for 89, over 1,000 yards, and responsible for 12 touchdowns. It's insane. Insane. You're going to host North Carolina. You're going to travel to Notre Dame. You're going to host Charleston Southern. And you're going to play Florida in the Toilet Bowl. What's it going to be, Florida State? What's it going to be? You know what you're going to get with DJ Uiagalelei. I like the kid, but it's time to move on. You let Memphis, not just any Group 5 school, Mike Norvell's old stomping grounds, come in and get a win over you, 20-12. So Billy Napier is now on record. He was asked, Billy, has there been any conversation about your future? Nope. None. I call BS. I call it. If maybe the conversation hasn't been had in front of your face, but there's conversation. Are you really going to tell me the Florida Gators and the administration at Florida are not looking at Billy saying, hey, dude, we're Florida. We're Florida. Get this crap right. Dude, it's what, year 3 for you? Let me think about this. 20... Yeah, year 3, 20. Yeah, I don't know. He didn't start yesterday, okay? He didn't start yesterday. And you know what? You played host to the Aggies over the weekend. How do I say this nicely? You sucked. You were terrible. I'm here for it. Go Vols, baby. Florida can go 0-12 for all I care. Here's what worries me about this as a Tennessee fan. Who are they going to hire? Who's going to be the next at the helm for Florida? They're not going to be down forever. It's not going to happen. Florida, let me talk to you for a moment. My question for you would be this. Make a decision. Make an assessment. Is it Graham Mertz or is it DJ Lagway? Your quarterback rotation makes no sense. None. If I am Billy Napier and I am in this situation, I'm fighting for my job, and if Graham Mertz is cleared, Graham Mertz is going to know more of the playbook. I'm going to be able to go deeper into the playbook. I like his arm better as of this moment in time. I'm going Graham Mertz. Future, obviously, is DJ Lagway. But in order to get to the future, you have to survive now. So it's going to be Graham Mertz, who was 12 for 15, a $195, a touchdown, and a pick. DJ Lagway, 6 for 13, 54 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. And you're going to... Man, you are missing so bad, Etienne, who saw the writing on the wall and got out of Dodge. Now, as a Tennessee fan, I've seen this before. Things were going south. Henry To'o dipped, got out. Didn't like what he saw. We were able to get that revenge on him in 2022. Strictly business. If you know, you know. But now we know. We know why he got out. Florida can't run. Florida can't do anything. And it's not like the Aggies are just some kind of monster. Listen, a lot of talent still there, but they are in the thick of figuring it out season, putting the pieces together season. And again, you play host in the swamp and you get embarrassed. The only question that remains at this point is not if, but when. At what point, when is Billy Napier going to be relieved of his duties? Sounds like boosters are already getting together. As of Saturday night, they have collected $26 million to pay his buyout. You got a chance to get right, go into Starkville and beat Mississippi State. Heck, Toledo did it. Can the Florida Gators? You're going to host Central Florida, who's undefeated. And then you're going to Knoxville. I want to be the ones who end Billy Napier. Then you're going to play host to Kentucky. You're going to travel. Neutral site game. You're going to play Georgia. You're going to lose that game. Period. You're going to travel to Texas and you're going to lose that game. Period. You're going to play host to LSU. LSU could just not roll out their defense and probably win that game. You're going to host Ole Miss and then travel to Florida State. And you can only hope and pray that DJ Uiagalelei is still under center for the Seminoles. You can only hope and pray. Florida, you got problems. You got problems. You got so many nails in your coffin. And I hope Tennessee is the final and last one that puts it in you and ends you. Georgia first. You're fine. Everything's fine. I've heard a few guys say that the sky is falling, and that is just overreaction. Everything's fine. There's no reason to panic. None. What made Nick Saban so great was not his climb to the top. It was his ability to stay at the top. What is making Kirby Smart great, not his climb to the top, his ability to stay at the top. Really good teams find ways to win these ugly games. I don't know who Kentucky is. I'm not sure many of us. I don't think Mark Stoops knows who Kentucky is. But they gave you fits. That's probably the most Carson Beck has been pressured in his time at Georgia. They were never able to actually get home on him, but he got pressured quite a bit. There's a couple times, if I remember right, where Georgia shot themselves in the foot. There was a fumble that you recovered, I believe on a bobbled snap, just to Beck. Etienne recovers. Etienne, whatever. So there's just no reason to panic here. It is a long season, and it's still really early in the season. And what's really good for you, Georgia, is you get a bye week before you play Bama. Bama's a whole nother conversation. We're not going to get in that. Not today, not today's episode. Hey, did you guys just hear that? Another Georgia player was arrested for speeding. Ha! Brock Vandagriff, 14 for 27, 114 yards, no scores, no picks. He was better. Those are not good numbers. But, man, he was better than what he did against South Carolina. Boy, he looked lost. He was better. Maybe his head was on this game. I don't really think that's the case. Sometimes it's just the day of the week. It's just the timing. It's just what's in the air. Every game is different. Every single game is different. We've said it 100,000 times. We don't believe in transitive property. One thing doesn't move over to the next. This is not a video game. Maybe Georgia was sleepwalking. Maybe not. I do know this. They didn't really rotate at the defensive line. There was a major drop-off from their top three. I forget what the numbers were. Like your top three dudes had like 50 snaps, and anything after that was 16 or 17. Thank you, Josh Pate. I do know that. I noticed that during game time. Like, man, they're just these dudes are waxed. They're thin. They just don't have it right now because they pulled over on the side of the road. Nonetheless, I'll stop. Georgia's fine. Georgia's fine. You're going to see a really good Georgia team, squad, football team play well against Bama. It's what's going to happen. It's what's going to happen. Georgia's going to want it. Bama's going to want it. It's going to be two heavyweights taking swings at one another. Georgia, everything is fine. Kentucky, I'm not so sure everything is fine. Not so sure everything is fine. You're going to get a chance to break even and get back to 500 playing host to Ohio. Then you got to travel to Ole Miss. And that could get ugly for you. Ole Miss just broke the will of Wake Forest, or Wake Forest has bought out of the second game in that series. They don't want it. They don't want the smoke. You're going to play host to Vanderbilt. You should get that, even though Vanderbilt has improved, even after a loss against Georgia State. I laugh because I've been there, okay? You're going to play at Florida? Is that going to be a rejuvenated Florida at that time? Or is it going to be a Billy Napier Florida? Who knows? You're going to play host to Auburn? I don't know. You got to come to Knoxville. As of right now, that looks bad. You got to travel to Austin, Texas. That looks bad for you. You got to play host to Louisville. That also looks bad for you. Did Mark Stoops lose this team? I don't know. Here's the deal. Here's what we do know. We know that we don't know anything about Kentucky. That's why this segment has just been total ranting and raving and just running my mouth, because I don't have a clue on what to say about Kentucky. Who the heck is Kentucky? What are they? What are they good at? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. A lot else took place in the rest of the country. Just some things of noteworthy. Auburn getting a win over a school from New Mexico. Good for you, my dudes. Hugh Freeze, applause to you, man, making a quarterback change. I hope Mike Norvell is taking notice, all right? Arkansas got into a close one with UAB. Oklahoma got into a close one with Tulane. Obviously, game day is going to be in Norman, Oklahoma coming up this weekend. College football officiating remains crap. That was week 3. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and hanging out with me. I miss doing this with my buddy, but kind of is what it is at the moment. We love doing this for you. We love talking ball. The least you can do for us is make sure you hit like and subscribe on this video. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't pay us anything. Hopefully, well, not yet. Hopefully it will one day. Nonetheless, I'm Dan. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I love you guys. Have a great week. God bless. Go Vols.